we go again.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Platinum Pussy with your host, Sarish Khan. So apparently, if I say a bad word within the first 2 minutes of a video, YouTube is going to lower it in SEO and it's not going to get seen by as many people, something like that. And apparently the P word is a very provocative and bad word, which I had no idea about. I'm only kidding. I hope that joke landed. But regardless, so I'm going to try something new. We're going to try this new intro and see if it has any impact. It might not, but you know what? We're just going to try it. Somebody told me that, and that somebody knows what they're talking about because they work in this space. So I'll give it a shot. So I put out a poll on Instagram to ask you guys what you want me to talk about next. And the options were business, law, mindset, and relationships. And overwhelmingly, people selected mindset. I think it was about 67 or 70%. And the second and third contenders were law and business. Nobody chose relationships. And I'm wondering if that's because we're just so fed up of all of the content that's on social media, podcasts, dating shows, reality shows that is related to dating and relationships. I don't know. I know that I feel a little overwhelmed sometimes with all of the information and all of the different angles and different tips to follow, or how to get a man, or how to have a healthy relationship, or what's toxic, what's not toxic. So maybe some of us just have that fatigue, or you guys just don't think I'm the best person to give relationship advice. And I'm not offended by that, because to be honest, I don't really know that I have a process or a method for finding your person. Because let's just be honest, I haven't been quite very successful in that yet. But anyway, I just feel like I'm really happy with the results because frankly, what I want to talk about more is mindset, more about like achieving your goals, about succeeding in life and just being happy overall. And relationships are a part of that, and setting healthy boundaries and, having a game plan, being honest. I think how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, some of the things we talk about is going to be related to relationships and some of it is not. So all that to say is today we're going to talk about all three of those topics. We're going to talk about business, we're going to talk about law, and we're going to talk about mindset. So I woke up this morning to news on Instagram, which is where I get my news lately, just like most of us. And I saw an article that said Kim Kardashian posts her bar results after failing the exam. Now, I know some of you might have opinions about Kim as a person or her values or what have you, but here's the thing. She is a businesswoman, and she is I was going to say the F word. She is a really freaking good businesswoman, and she is the business. So I don't think there's anybody better right now to look at as a case study and take a page out of their playbook and see what they are doing right. Let's start with what this whole passing the bar exam thing is. I know some people have asked me, how is she even a lawyer? Did she even go to law school? Like she's paying for a degree or what have you. So let me just explain. There are two ways to become a licensed attorney in California. You can either go to law school, which is a traditional method that most people do. 3 years of law school, you sit for the bar exam, you pass it, you apply, you get licensed, and you practice. The other way, which is only really applicable to a few states, and I think it's California, Washington, Vermont, and Virginia. But in these states, you can actually sit to take the bar exam by doing an apprenticeship. And what a legal apprenticeship is, you have to have working hours. So you have to work under qualified attorneys or law firms. You can work with judges. There's a whole criteria to how you can qualify for the bar exam. It's not easy. It's very difficult. And there's a number of requirements for like work that you've done, paid work you've done, legal research. And it does require a level of study that you can do on your own, or you can either like do it from like a mentor, teacher, something like that. So anyway, leaving all the requirements aside, that is a path to becoming a lawyer in California. And that is what Kim is doing. It's a really difficult route to take because I think replacing classroom education, courtroom experience, trial teams, internships, it's not the same thing when you're studying it under an attorney or just doing it on your own. So I do want to give credit where credit is due that she is even following this path. Like, props to her. She's going after what she wants. She sat for the bar exam in July after finishing her apprenticeship, and she did not pass. Bar results take a few months to come out, so they must have just come out a couple of days ago. There are things I want you to pay attention to and lessons I want you to learn from her experience and her life in general. But one funny thing I want to mention off the bat is in some of the posts I read that, so she said, I was studying and got really mad at AI because AI was giving me the wrong answers. You guys, AI is great. I have no problem with technology and progressing and making it work for you. But there are certain careers that AI does not work for. And law and medicine are two of those careers. And you cannot replace the traditional med school and law school education with AI. And I'll speak to law since I am a licensed attorney and have been for 10 plus years. When you go to ChatGPT, and I have used ChatGPT to look up some, rules or regulations and what have you, because as a lawyer, it's impossible to know all of the regulations and laws, right? And the old school method of doing legal research or going to the library or looking at code, it takes very long. So ChatGPT is a great resource to get the ball rolling, but it's only going to tell you black letter law. And if you don't know what black letter law is, it's literally the words on the page. So if the law says the speed limit is 60, the speed limit is 60. But what really matters is the interpretation of the law. I mean, technically, if you're driving 62 miles per hour, are you breaking the law? Yeah, you are. But what is the actual practical application of the law? Like, most people are not going to get a ticket for driving 63 miles per hour. They're not even going to get a ticket for driving 65. I don't know. Depends what state, what city you're in. But yeah, so ChatGPT is not going to give you the evaluation of a law or how it's applied. There's so many nuances when it comes to legal thinking and legal analysis. So, I mean, it just makes me question the intelligence a little bit, because that should not be your legal resource. All of that aside, let's take some lessons from Kim Kardashian when it comes to business and when it comes to mindset. The first thing, confidence. I commend this woman's confidence. The amount of times that the media, society, news outlets, men, women have tried to tear her down, like, she just shows up full throttle. And she does not care what anybody thinks about her. And this is the idea of her releasing her bar exam results after she failed. First of all, I don't think she needed to do that. She could have just said, I failed and I'm going to try again. So many people fail the bar exam. It's not a huge deal. It's a really, really tough exam, especially in California. And the fact that she released her results is just her kind of saying, you know what, fuck you. Oh shit, I think we're past 2 minutes, so I'm okay. But yeah, so it's such a major fuck you to everyone that I failed and here are my results. Look at the level of confidence. Like she is owning up to what happened. She is owning up to her failure, which honestly, it's just a redirection. It just means she needs to study harder. She needs to take the exam again. And I have no doubt that she is going to become a California licensed attorney. Like, mark my words, she will, and she will be in courtrooms and she will be fighting the good fight because her why is so damn strong. So I want to wrap the confidence piece and then I do want to move into the why because that's really the next idea that I want to take out of her playbook. I personally have experienced this issue of people judging me all the time and questioning what I'm doing and having the fear of failure, even with starting this podcast, right? And I'll talk about that because it's the most recent thing. When I was getting ready to launch this podcast, first of all, I spent the whole summer strategizing, mapping it out, budgeting, having a strategy, having a plan. And I was doing that sort of in silence. I wasn't publicizing it because I wanted to get my bearings. And that's the first thing that's going to give you confidence. When you're launching something, when you're pivoting or you're starting something new, you don't need to have it all figured out, but you need to lay the groundwork for yourself. So when you do hit the ground running and there's setbacks or, it's not perfect or there's room for improvement, your confidence isn't shattered because you put in a certain amount of work to get the thing started. That in and of itself is an accomplishment because most people will just think and think and think about ideas and they will not take any steps to make it happen. A lot of times it's because the end result, what you want out of it, seems so big and it seems so far away. So when you plan for your launch, even when things go wrong, you can reset and you can pivot. So if you're in the middle of starting something new, or you want to change careers, start a business, change your mindset, whatever it is, don't just jump right into it. Spend some time planning. I talked about in a previous episode about doing a life audit, that instead of just adding more things to your life to achieve your goals, first take things out of your life so you're building time and space to add in more value towards your goals. So plan, have a roadmap, be willing to amend and change the roadmap as you start doing the thing and you start seeing that there's room for improvement or there's ways to make your life easier. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm recording this on my own. So I'm producing this show myself right now. And I was initially having this like very detailed setup with having like a backlight, different lights, camera angles, and just whatnot. And it got a little bit overwhelming. So today I'm very bare bones recording this episode because I don't want to quit just because it takes too much time for me to do the setup. And that's the one thing that I want you to take away about confidence, and the lesson I want you to learn from it is plan and be ready to fail and be ready to try again. Just like Kim. Okay, now coming back to the why. Kim's why is so strong. Her father was a lawyer. She herself has had a strong connection to the field of law and feels motivated and feels moved to help people to reform the prison system. And she feels like that is her calling in life long term, that's what she wants to be known for. Whether you believe her or not, whether you think it's gimmicky, it's for, views or attention or whatever it is, she's doing it, right? And so your why is so strong, or your why needs to be so strong for you to have perseverance. Because the one thing that she has is perseverance. She started this process in 2019, and 6 years later, she's still going and she's committed to taking the bar exam again. This is a very long road. I see this happening a lot in many different fields. And because I'm in LA, I'm around a lot of creatives, and the entertainment industry is struggling deeply at the moment. But I do think there's a transition that's coming, and people just need to like move with the waves if they want to stay relevant. But in order to have perseverance, you need to feel very strongly about what you're doing and what it's giving you. It can't be based on validation. It can't be based on fame. It can't be based on money, because all of those things are variables and they're not always going to be in your control. There's this mindset about the quick fix, the overnight success, and none of those things really work in my experience. And I have yet to meet someone that really works for. There's probably a tiny, tiny fraction of people in society who just get lucky and they just, get the thing that they want. And usually, honestly, it's not even that they got lucky. It's because they had done the work and they were in the right places or were connected to the right people to get noticed for their genius. So don't look for the quick fix. Like when you see all of these like 7-day intensives to your dream life or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Like those things don't really work. They might be a temporary fix, or they might be great for motivation. They might be a good jumpstart into what you want to do, but truly achieving anything that's going to matter long term or is going to have longevity is going to take time. It's going to take perseverance. And the only way you can have that sort of grit and commitment to your goals is if you're reminded every day, why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Because I'll tell you, recording this episode for you, recording this podcast in general, from production to filming to getting it edited to uploading it on YouTube, cutting reels, responding to comments, responding to DMs, planning what I'm going to say on the next episode. It is so much work. And right now, I maybe get a couple hundred views on YouTube. I get a couple of thousand views on Instagram and Spotify. So in no way, shape, or form is it like millions of people. And while having so many people listen to the podcast would make me really happy, mainly because I want them to hear what I want to say. I want the message to be loud and proud and bold and reach a lot of women, reach a lot of men who are struggling as well. But my why for doing this podcast is what I'm saying is going to change somebody's life. That at the core is my why. All the adversity that I've been through, all the struggles I've had as a woman in the corporate world, in relationships, in not having financial support, emotional support, living in different countries, like moving cities, changing careers. All of that and all of the value that I've gained from that and the grit that I have gained, if I can share that with people or share just parts of that with people and one person is inspired, that is good enough for me. When it comes to all the time and effort I'm putting into building this show, it really is to have my voice heard and to inspire somebody else to just go after the things you want, man. Like, life is so goddamn short and nobody gives a shit. I think I'm going on a tangent, but I feel like people think other people think about them more than they actually do. Let me say that again. If this is you, I think you think that other people think about you more than they actually do. Like everyone is just trying to figure it out for themselves. And that is not a bad thing. Everyone is like worried about how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to achieve their goals, and how they're going to find the love of their life. So it's not that serious. It's not that deep. Like, Who gives a shit if people judge you? Who gives a shit if people are going to shit on Kim and say, like, look, she's not smart enough. She failed the bar exam. Hello, she's on a Hulu show playing a fucking divorce lawyer. Do you think she gives a shit about your opinion? No, she doesn't. It literally does not affect her life. And I want you to be like that. I want you to be that tough, that committed, have that much grit and that much perseverance that when there's a little hiccup or when there's a little roadblock, you don't give a shit. You have other things going on for you in your life. Which I want to address this. Okay, we're in an economy where you can't just have one job anymore. I truly believe that. And maybe it doesn't apply to some people. Like if you're a surgeon or you're a partner at a law firm and you're kind of solid and you're golden and your job is safe, like maybe you don't need to do that. But I would argue that even so, you need another stream of income. You need passive income. You need other areas of life that excite you that could potentially become a career. It's just life is too expensive, time is too limited, there isn't job security, and there are so many options. Like there are a lot of avenues of making money now. So anyway, I went on a tangent, but I do want to say that when I look at Kim, I think it's amazing that she really has thrust herself in so many different industries, from being, starting out as a stylist, reality show, clothing brand, Skims, and now she's an actor. Like, you guys, she failed the bar exam, but she's playing a divorce attorney on a show on Hulu with a stacked cast. So let's not lose sleep on people's opinions. Like, it's not going to get you anywhere in life. The last thing I want to talk about on this episode is the art of the pivot. Now, I am a strong believer that you need to pivot in life and you can't stay stuck in one career. There's some people who are very fortunate that the thing that they went to school for and they entered the workforce for is the thing that they end up retiring in, and they were happy throughout that entire journey. But in my experience, and the people I've talked to and the people I know, the ones who stuck it out in the same career for 40 years, 50 years, what have you, were not happy for the most part. And they waited until retirement to actually do the thing that they love. Don't let that be you. It's completely okay to pivot. I don't know why we feel that our childhood dream is the thing that we need to accomplish and is the thing that we need to do for the rest of our lives. I wanted to be an economist. That's the first thing I fell in love with. Is I took this class which was called Love and Economics. And I still remember because I'm such a lover. I took that class. I was like, love is just a feeling. Like, love cannot be justified in any other way. And you guys, it made so much more sense to me why we make some of the choices that we make when it comes to relationships. This is a topic for a whole other episode. Let me know if you're curious about this, because it is quite interesting. So I did econ. I loved it. Somewhere along the way, I built this passion for law. And it really is rooted in certain trauma that I had to go through in my 20s, which I'm not ready to talk about right now. But going through that experience made me feel like I had a responsibility to stand up for other women, because in the situation that I was put in, I had enough of a voice and I had enough confidence and financial stability that I was able to fight for myself and stand up for myself and get out of the bad situation. And it made me realize how many women have to suffer through bad relationships, hostile work environments, just so many situations that are not in their control, and they don't have the tools to fight back for themselves. I wanted to use my voice, use my intelligence, use all the resources that I had to fight for women and stand up for them. And that was my why for going to law school. And I think even when school got really hard, because it is tough, and I was working full time through my second and third year of law school. So anyway, anytime things got hard for me, I just was always reminded about all the women that I could help. And that was my dream. And that's what drove me and kept me going, and, having sleepless nights and still getting up the next day, going to work, sitting through class, doing the readings, and just, overextending myself because I cared so much. I think sometimes we feel stuck that the thing that we chose is a thing that we have to stick to forever, even if it's not feeling good for us, even if it's not feeling authentic. And it might sound like I'm contradicting myself by saying that perseverance and commitment and grit is the thing that matters. But notice that matters when your goals and the reason you want to accomplish something is consistent. So if you really want to help underserved communities, and the way you want to do it is by practicing law, your desire for doing that hasn't changed, then yes, you need perseverance, you need grit, you need commitment to achieve your goals. But for me, the way I wanted to help people and the way I wanted to help women changed. I started seeing very quickly that going on Capitol Hill and fighting for the change of certain laws or certain regulations, that's not something that filled me up. That was extremely, extremely draining to me. And what I did see at the time was this is like when social media was really starting to kick off and people were getting a lot of attention and they were able to use their voice and the world was listening. So what I noticed was having a very strong platform, having a public platform can move the needle a lot faster, more than me kind of, trying to fight it from a legal aspect. That's what was true for me. All of this is to say, you got to be able to pivot. When something is not working for you, learn to pivot and learn to pivot fast. Don't stay stuck on the dream that's keeping your ambitions dead. If you once had a dream of being a certain thing or using a certain method of getting there, and you've been trying it year after year after year without seeing any progress, and you're unhappy, you got to pivot. You can still have the same goal. I still have the same goal of empowering women, of helping them find their voice, of helping them be financially independent, but my path just looks really different now. So if you're stuck right now and you can't figure out what you want to do, and you're in a job or you're in a career that just feels like routine and it's not giving you any fulfillment, and there's not a lot of ambition that you feel, it's not, ambition is not just something people are, born with. Ambition comes from a place of knowing, of self-search. I don't know if that's a word, but like doing research on yourself. So if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling unhappy, try to isolate. Is it your why? Does your why not feel consistent anymore? Has it changed? Or is your why still the same, but the path you've chosen to get to your goals doesn't feel fulfilling anymore? It doesn't, get you excited. Try to differentiate the two. And once you've figured that out, you can decide how to pivot. Focus on you. I think to just wrap up the whole thing, I truly am inspired by Kim. I wouldn't say the Kardashians overall, but she just keeps it moving. Like her level of confidence, her perseverance, her ability to pivot and redirect her life is truly inspirational. And I want you guys to think about that and how you can implement some of these changes in your own life. And it's all going to begin by you actually taking a real, honest, good, hard look at where you're at. And if you're unhappy with certain areas of your life, sit down and do a life audit. Right now, I really feel that a lot of people are feeling stuck or they're feeling overstimulated by all of the different options that are being laid out in front of them, or the quick fixes, or the overnight method to making a million. And I get this sense of people just being removed from their own reality. And it's, I think it's time that we get a little grounded and decipher what's real for us versus what's just being fed to us. The mind is extremely strong, and the mind can also be influenced very easily if you're not filtering and being conscious about what you're putting into it. The stimulus that you're exposed to, whether it's in person, in social media, family, friends, all of it. I've talked about this before. It's a big issue in society right now. Like, not knowing who you are and easily being distracted by what people say. Really, my big takeaway for you guys from this episode is stop giving a fuck about what anybody thinks about you. They're not paying your bills. They're not the ones taking care of you. And even if they were, they don't have a right over your life. This is your life. You only get one life. You only have 24 hours a day. Choose wisely how you want to spend it. Choose wisely what you want to think about and what you let seep into your mind, and the insecurities that you let stop you from achieving your goals. Because at the end of the day, people will be there to cheer you on when you're on the up and up. But when you're down and when you're struggling, most of the people in your life are not going to be there. They might be there temporarily, but at the end, you have to be the one to dig yourself out of that. So prevent yourself from getting that low in the first place, and wake up, like touch grass, like be in touch with reality, and just live this life for yourself. That's all I got for you today. I love you guys. I love recording this podcast. It makes me feel so free. I hope it inspires people. I try to keep it as organic as possible and not curated. And I just want people to feel empowered and badass and authentic and go after the things that they want to go after, and just, be you and stay platinum. So until next time, you guys, I love you. Have a great week and have a great weekend.